Lao adventure by crossing the Thai border into Houaysay, and we've already noticed a difference in how much more relaxed the town is.
Right now we're in one of the town's main points of interest. It's an old French fort that is pretty run down, but it still has its charms, and we're up the watchtower now with brilliant views over the Mekong and over towards the Thai border. There's also a temple that you should go and check out where Natalie received a blessing from a monk.
The charm of Laos is that it's overshadowed by the character of its Southeast Asian neighbours, which means that it's relatively forgotten about by tourists.
And it's made us really excited to explore the country, and we can't wait to get going. Tomorrow we start our journey along the Mekong.
And it's a 2-day journey which takes us to the cultural capital of Laos, Luang Prabang. We've just arrived in the UNESCO city of Luang Prabang.
And this was our incredible 2-day boat ride to get here. The slow boat is such a beautiful and relaxing way to see rural Laos.
And next for our Luang Prabang adventure. Luang Prabang is a UNESCO city because of its countless historic wats, and today we're going to check out those wats and try and survive the 35-degree heat. The amazing thing about Buddhist wats is that the artwork is always 3D, so that you can see the textures of the landscape.
Luang Prabang is really unique for its architecture, and right now we're in the Old Quarter. So on this side we've got French-inspired colonial architecture, and on this side we've got Lao-inspired Watts. Laos is the most heavily bombed country on the planet, and during the Vietnam War, America dropped more bombs in this country than the whole of the bombs dropped during World War II.
So the museum that we've just been to addresses the legacy of all these bombs being dropped, including warning children off playing with these bombs, and also talking about the situation that the Lao government and people are faced with now, where they've got to find and detonate all these bombs. There's something like 80 million bombs left unexploded, and it's going to take about a century to detonate them all.
So the UXO Visitor Centre is part of an organisation that goes through Laos detonating these bombs and making the land safe. But obviously these bombs are just in the landscape and can be set off with people setting a fire on land or
fishing or farming, just going about their daily lives.
And it's really sad and a humbling experience for anyone who's visiting Luang Prabang to visit.
There's nothing better after a hard day of exploring than watching the sunset over the Mekong River.
We're on Buffet Street, and basically what that is these stalls with all you can eat into one single bowl for £1.50, and for us it's perfect, and I've been eating like a king. We are in Vang Vieng, a small town in rural Laos.
It took us 7 hours to get here by a mountainous road from Luang Prabang, which was quite interesting to say the least.
And the reason we've come to Vang Vieng is that it's become a bit of a backpacker haven.
And here's why. We didn't believe TripAdvisor when it said that the waterfall wouldn't be more than a trickle during the dry season. And here we are, muggins. For anyone that's seen Air America, you'll know that the CIA had a covert airline which operated during the Vietnam War and the secret war in Laos, and although it might not look like much, this is one of the airfields that operated during that time.
When Laos gained independence from France, they built this monument, and in many ways it's very similar to the Arc de Triomphe, but it's styled in a way that's distinctly Laotian, and for that reason I think it's a massive middle finger to the French.
Monuments in the city. In its time it would have been painted glorious colours, and although now it's overrun by nature, it still retains a certain beauty and charm. We are ending our time in Laos much the same way that we started it, by sitting on the banks of the River Mekong facing Thailand.
Today we've got a grueling 24-hour bus to Hanoi, which marks the end of our journey. But before we left the country, we wanted to talk about some of the highlights that we've had and how much of an amazing time we've had during the trip.
Yeah. So one particular highlight would be the landscape. The journey from Luang Prabang to Vang Vieng is unexpectedly beautiful, and it's quite scenic. It's similar to the Nepali rides.
So by that, it's quite basic roads passing up high through the mountains, through mountain passes, and we passed through at sunset, so we just got to see the sunset over the mountain ranges, which was incredible.
Yeah, and the way that Vang Vieng is just nestled amongst these mammoth mountains is jaw-dropping, and being able to wander amongst those mountains, it's like it was our playground. It was fantastic.
And hurl ourselves off trees into blue lagoons.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
incredible.
That was in the dry season, that was perfect.
By dry season we mean 35 degrees, which is just quite intolerable. The journey that we had when we first entered Laos from Houaysay to Luang Prabang on the 2-day slow boat was incredible. It was so scenic. You got to see how locals lived along the river and just passed through some incredible landscapes.
Yeah. And the capital of Vientiane as well is quite beautiful. It's definitely worth checking out, even for 1 or 2 days. Our favourite thing, I think, was the Arc de Triomphe style monument, which was a big view to the France, and Aiden loves that.
I'm very approving of that, and also it's really beautifully done. It's a combination of colonialism and Laotian architecture, and the result is stunning. Also stunning is the cultural capital, Luang Prabang, and it's also a UNESCO heritage site.
Yeah, so it's full of temples, and it's weird, one side of the street is like French colonialism and the other side is all Asian temples, so it's quite a juxtaposition, but it's interesting. And then there was the sobering side of the recent history, I should say, with the bombing and the secret war.
Where America just bombed the hell out of the country to stop the spread of communism, but as a result have left over 80 million bombs just littered through the landscape, waiting to maim and kill people.
So it's with a heavy heart that we leave in Laos.
We definitely wish we could have seen more.
Yeah, there's a lot we didn't see, like the 4,000 islands, but we would recommend it to anyone in Southeast Asia or anyone looking for a peaceful and relaxed,
Unspoiled
country.